Wrestling fans around the corner, around the world, I'm Dan Marty.
It's your boy JTG, the God.
You love him, you keep wanting him back. JTG of Cryme Time is back on Wrestling Insider Special Edition now.
My first time meeting Vince, like, is he gonna be the character I see on TV? How is he gonna be? We're standing outside his office, we're waiting. I think we were waiting outside his office for maybe like a good 30, 40 minutes. And then somebody comes out, he's like, you guys can go in now. We go in, we sit down, and we're sitting down. He's still doing what he wants, like what he's doing. Like, we didn't break his thing. He was like going back and forth. He's checking his phone and blah blah blah. And we're just there waiting. Like, I don't know.
In the room with him.
In the room with him. Yeah. I'm like, shout it out. Like.
Tickets are on sale now at bostonwrestling.com for our 20th anniversary Back to the 80s WrestleFest, Saturday, November the 13th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Mass. Wrestling fans, we've told you that we have a new Tuesday night coming for you for our 20th anniversary beginning September 7th when Boston Wrestling MWF goes extreme. Sunday night, August the 29th, one of the rotating superstars joining us will be former ECW World Champion Justin Credible, coming to MWF Studios for the first time for Wrestling Insider's Extreme tapings, plus a live episode and Cyber autograph signing. Joining New Jack, Justin Credible brings a brand new edge to Tuesday nights. Interested in joining us live? Boston Wrestling Patreon family members can join us for free. For information, visit patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. Fans anywhere in the world can join us for the live episode and Cyber autograph signing. For more, visit bostonwrestling.com. Wrestling fans, it's time to rock. WWE legend Marty Jannetty of the Rockers returns for 3 big nights, Wednesday, September the 1st through Friday, September the 3rd. Marty will be taping historical Wrestling Insider episodes, live specials, and Cyber autograph signings. Support wrestling superstars. Pre-order autographed 8x10s now over at bostonwrestling.com. This September, get your sunglasses ready. It's time to party with Marty.
This is Mick Foley.
This is Harley Race.
This is Shelton Benjamin.
This is Mr. Wonderful Paul Orndorff.
This is the Monster Abyss.
And this is Daniel Bryan.
This is JBL, and you're watching the MWF.
Be there live.
Wrestling fans, welcome to another special episode of Wrestling Insider Special Edition. As you can tell, we are not in our humble studio back in Boston as we continue our on-the-road Wrestle House adventure in Tampa, Florida. We got so many great guests, so many great episodes, so many great stories. This guy, we had a hell of a lot of fun. WrestleMania 35 morning in New York, so we decided to actually put it on video here in the Sunshine State, even if there isn't a lot of sunshine right now. You brought the doom and gloom, Jay, and usually you're a pretty happy guy.
I know, right? Man, sorry I brought all this rain with me. Man.
Well, our episodes have been so well received right now. Again, I'm anxious to get you up north where you have people you can obviously visit when you are there that would love to see you. Our first episode, again, it was just kind of an introduction to you as a human being, the life, the night that Kofi worked that magic in front of almost 80,000 people in MetLife Stadium, not too far from where you grew up. A good friend of yours who had that magic, and the tragedy that came along with Shad and coronavirus life. And then last episode, we got into you taking the leap of faith in life from going to be one of those kids that just loved wrestling and then wanted to kayfabe it a little bit, not to let your friends know that you were that big of a fan, and going from during the week AMC movie theaters to the weekend, getting on the old Greyhound reward
bus.
miles, headed out to Louisville every weekend, and the magic that came from that into the World Wrestling Federation.
World Wrestling Entertainment, What? Get the F out. Yeah, get the F out.
What company is that?
Get the F out.
What company is that? I'll always. You know how long it took me to go from saying WWE?
Oh, I was on the same boat. Yeah.
Oh my God! Was Ed Cohen still there when you were there? He ran the live event department.
I can't remember.
I worked with him in 2000 and 2001, and I would still stay in communication with him even when I was done.
Yeah.
And I'd always type in an email WWF, and I would be corrected every single time. They were that adamant that those 3 letters did not exist anymore unless you were involved with a kangaroo or a panda or something like that. There was no F anymore. They wanted that F as far gone as humanly possible. And even the announcers, when they'd slip, I could only imagine the verbal beatings that they got. You know, one thing I don't think we ever even came across in the the other interviews we did. What was your first meeting with Vince McMahon like? Your impressions? What did you talk about?
It was great. Yeah, we didn't talk about that.
Yeah, no, we kind of glossed over.
Let's touch on that now. So our first meeting.
Touch. All right. What do we
All right,
got?
our first meeting with Vince was the first time we got to went to Raw, not the Staples, not our debut. We was on the road prior to that. It was not too far from Kentucky, so I want to say it was in Ohio.
So you were around before you actually made.
Yeah, they wanted us to get it
right?
acquainted to the road and the life, I guess. And I believe it was in Dayton, Ohio. I'm going to say Dayton, Ohio, because that's not too far. I remember driving a few hours to go to Raw. And Vince wanted to talk to us after Raw. I remember standing I remember standing in the hallway, Shad and I looking at each other like, all day we knew we had this meeting with Vince. It's like, this is my first time meeting Vince. It's like, is he going to be the character I see on TV? How is he going to be? We're standing outside his office. We're waiting. I think we were waiting outside his office for maybe like a good 30, 40 minutes. And then somebody comes out. He's like, you guys can go in now. We go in, we sit down, and we're sitting down. He's still doing what he's doing. Like, we didn't break his thing. He was like going back and forth. He's checking his phone and blah, blah, blah. And we're just there waiting. Like, I don't know.
In the room with him.
In the room with him, yeah. I'm like, Shad and I like, okay.
Should we be here yet?
Yeah. And then he comes, sits down, pops open. I remember he opens up an Altoid tin, pops open an Altoid.
Did he offer you an Altoid?
Did he? I don't think so.
Really?
I don't remember him. Probably did. I don't remember. And then he I guess he liked silence. He was just sitting there in silence for a little bit. And Shannon and I just looking at each other like, and then he breaks it and he's like, all right, Cryme. I don't think we had the name yet. I think he's like, you guys are gonna be my babyface heels. And we're like, okay. Shannon and I are like, yeah, we could do that. We could definitely rock with that. He's like, you guys are gonna. What I want to do is I want to take this image that the look that you guys have. You know, sometimes it could be intimidating, especially to the whites. And I want to make it. I want to take this look, and I want to when they see it, I want you to make them smile, make them happy. And at the time I'm like, okay, how are we gonna do that? And when we come out, he said, I never want to see you guys mean, like looking mean or being. You guys are always upbeat and smiling on camera. When you come on, when your music hits, I want people getting off their seat. I want them dancing, having a good time. So I was like, he wants to take the look that's been portrayed as negative and flip it. But he said he wants us to. What else did he say that he wanted from us? That we're gonna. He said this is his exact words. You're gonna steal from Whitey and give it back And what else? I'm trying to remember exactly. It was not too long ago. I'm trying to remember exactly what he said. Steal from Whitey and give it back. A lot of crowd engagement, and just have fun. He said take skits for I think at the time Dave Chappelle's show was very, very popular, and he wanted us to do something similar to that.
Like he would watch Dave Chappelle.
I guess
fascinated by that.
So he wanted us to do a lot of sketches, and Shad and I we were big growing up in Living Color, so we had a lot. Yeah. So we had a lot to bring. We were like, well, we got that covered. Don't worry about that. And yeah, he was like, you guys are gonna be my babyface heels, and you're gonna do healer stuff, and the crowd is gonna love you. On a lot of crowd engagement, and just have fun, and you guys can make a lot of money. And I'm hearing like, oh yeah, so that was music to my ears. It was a great meeting, and every time after that, when we finally got our name, we could talk about how we got the name.
Okay, how did then again another thing we kind of glossed over previously? How did Cryme Time come to be?
So we didn't have a name, and
did you use it in OVW?
Cryme Time?
Yeah.
No.
So that was a WWE original.
That was a WWE kind of. So we were in the office with the writers and creative, and we were probably stuck in that room for about 2 or 3 hours trying to come up with names. Because after we would say a name, we would have to go check the trademark registry and all that stuff. And we went through so many. Like, okay,
it's not an easy process.
It's not at all. He was like, they were changing the spellings, and it still wasn't. I'm like, yo, this is like this. We have to do this with every talent. Like we were like really like thinking our heads about it. And then I remember one name that was really bad. I can't remember who came up with it. One of the writers he was like, look, you guys are gonna love this. You guys are gonna love it. Let's check this out. He made it like a real big production. He was like, Hoodie Nation. And we're kind of like, you guys will have your own flag. Fans will buy your flag at merch and be waving it when you guys come out. Hoodie Nation. What do you guys think? And we're kind of like, let's see if it's available. And I'm like, please don't make it available. And for some reason, it was taken. I'm like, who the hell bought, who do you, like, it was, so anyway, I didn't complain. I'm like, yeah. And then I think Shad, he's like, we just kind of like keep brainstorming. He was like, what do we do? We're into crime, crime buddies, crime. Shad said, Cryme Time? And then we kind of all just kind of started looking at each other and started saying it over and over again. Cryme Time, Cryme Time, Cryme Time. It rhymes. It's okay. We checked it. Cryme Time was taken. The correct spelling.
Crime.
Yeah, Time. And then like, and then I think one of the writers or creatives said, what if you spelled it with a Y? It's available. We just took it. At that time, it was just like I wanted to brainstorm a little bit more, but we was in that room for so long, and I was getting tired of throwing out good names and having being taken. Cryme Time it is. Let's go with it.
Can you think of a couple of names that you really liked that were taken?
I really wanted to use Gangstars. I still wanted to use
that was taken?
Yeah, we could have used Gangstars.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, we could have used Gangstars.
They didn't want it, or it was already copyrighted?
It was taken. It was copyrighted or something like that. Came up with some others. I can't remember, Hoodfellas or something like that.
That's kind of good.
Yeah.
I love Goodfellas. So
Hoodfellas would have been nice. That was taken.
Jesus.
There's some other names, but that's off the top of my head. I can't remember. Yeah, but Cryme Time it was, and I love it. Cryme Time. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it worked like magic.
Yeah, it did. And every time Vince would see us, Cryme Time, he was like, oh, we always put a smile on his face. He loves Shad and I. I hope I still have that same effect on him when I see it.
It was a fun gimmick. Like you said, you really were a babyface heel. You're going around stealing, doing heelish type things, but you were doing it in a way where people got some enjoyment out of it. They got some laughs out of it.
Auctions, that was a blast. We got to keep the money. So,
Really?
Yeah,
Well,
MSG, we made a pretty penny at MSG when we sold Lillian's. We took Lillian's chair from underneath there and we signed it and sold it to somebody in the crowd live.
Really?
Yeah, I think we got like $1,000 or $800, something like that.
Wow,
and
so that much cash in their pocket?
Exactly. If you sit in front row, yeah.
Well, you gotta have a pretty penny to sit front row at MSG, yeah.
And then after that, we went out. We took our families out to eat after that show because we were at home. Yeah.
I don't really remember a lot of Cryme Time merch. Did they do a shirt or anything?
We had a few shirts. We also had a pendant. We had a Cryme Time pendant with the fist with the money. I would actually want to find one of those. I think my mom has one, but she's not giving that up. I have to find me one of those original Cryme Time pendants.
Well, you should have them made. Maybe once life comes back to normal, you can push them when you're out doing indies and conventions and things like that.
Yeah.
Sometimes people just like the little, the knicknacks and the accessories that go along
with it. The nostalgia
of
the Cryme,
or if you had the gimmick that you put over
the grill.
Like that.
You were supposed to actually have a Cryme Time grill. It was supposed to be like a mouth guard, not really a grill, but a gold mouth guard with Cryme Time on it. But I think some situation, Kurt Angle was supposed to do something with the mouth. They couldn't. They nixed it. Yeah.
Well, did you guys do okay with the merch?
We did all right. Yeah. I also have another cool story about my merch in the book.
Wrestling's Hands. Head on over to Amazon.com right now. You can search JTG or the official titles.
Damn right I write this book, and damn right I write this book too. But one of the stories in there is I was supposed to have my own shades. The yo-yo shades, remember that?
You did have. Oh, you mean that they were going to merchandise?
Yeah, okay. I got the news. Actually, I remember I got the news in Boston. The merch guy was like, we got the okay on the glasses. Money, yeah. And I'm like, oh, yeah. And then if you want to find out why I got nixed, you got to get the book.
Now, in a situation like that, would you have had to split it?
I don't think so. I think I asked that question, and he said, no, this is all yours. And I was like, 100% all me. Okay.
Really? Even better.
I don't think Shad was happy about that. I don't think Shad was happy about that.
Shad would have been like, oh, I'll wear them too.
Yeah, both of ours.
I'll wear the glasses anytime.
Yeah, so if you want to find out about that, check out the book.
Fun story. I am really anxiously, now even more so than, times people have mentioned the book to me or when we talked about it when we had your WrestleMania 35 morning. I look forward to digging into it now as we try and do more and more of these episodes. Because one thing that's great about you is beyond talking about your career and experiences, you still stay up to date with what's going on in the world of wrestling.
Yeah,
sometimes when you have talents that may have great stories, great careers, but then
Mm-hmm.
they don't care anymore about 2021.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of like the end of the road. You know what I mean? When you have guys that are still interested in what's going on in the world
I'm
of
still a
wrestling,
fan. I'm still a fan.
You're evergreen. You can stay with us forever. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even Tony Atlas, he'd have no clue what was going on in 2021, but he'd try
Wow.
and come up with his own, I don't know if thought process is the right word, or anecdotes to go along with it. But, the fans found great humor in it, if nothing else, even if it really wasn't relevant. So,
Okay.
but you can be relevant.
Yeah.
You're very well spoken and intelligent.
Oh,
And
thank
Tony
you.
is just kind of, he's
Tony.
He's a unique human being.
That's
to say
Tony
the very,
Tonian.
very least. Now, you were kind of close to us at WrestleCon when we were in New York last year. Did you see him get walked on?
Walked on?
You're not familiar?
Oh,
with
yeah, no. I took a spell like, what are you talking about? Oh, yeah, Tony. We're talking about Tony.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did I see him get walked on?
Maybe another
Probably, and
places,
I blanked it out of my memory. But yeah, I've heard a lot of stories about him getting walked on, and the boys having fun with that. Because we watched the video, and I remember it was Shelton and MVP. They were working the live events together, and they were imitating.
Have you ever seen the video?
I think I saw a little bit.
I
of
was
it.
going to say, I'll send it to you.
No,
I have.
saw-
The video. It is
He was getting walked on some stiletto heels, and he was so the boys would take his exact way how he would sell and did it in the ring, and we had a blast.
And the funny thing is, he's mentioned that before. I think you said it was MVP.
Yeah,
that was kind of
MVP.
trying
Yeah,
to
Shelton.
reenact
Yeah, in the ring. Yeah,
shoe walking,
Shelton
yeah.
would put the boots to him. He's like, in
And
the ring.
You would think, oddly enough, that there was something sexual about
Going
it.
on.
But
No.
we have actually, I don't know if you're familiar with him out in Cali. He works with a lot of the major league sports teams. Dr. David Reese, he's a psychiatrist. And he's the president of our group. And he actually kind of broke down to Tony why this is ingrained in his brain, because he used to see his
he had
mother
a great
get
story.
beat
Yeah.
and things like that. And it's almost like when it happens to him, it's revenge for his mom somewhere deep
Wow.
psychologically on the inside.
Therapy people. We all need therapy.
What is humor for us? But I'll never forget, at that WrestleCon, Tony found this giant German woman to step on his face and so on and so forth.
You paid her?
No, she paid $20 for an autograph.
Oh.
Then she started walking on him. But you know what a klutz Tony is. So Tony's in there, oh, that was great. And then he gets up, and Vicky Guerrero was next to us. And Vicky was hustling this big painting of Eddie.
Yeah.
And as Tony's getting up, he kicked the easel. It may have been the loudest excuse me that was ever uttered, as Vicky, almost like a football player, went to tackle and save the Eddie Guerrero painting.
Did she save it?
She did.
Okay,
She
great.
was trying to raffle it off for a little extra payday.
Uh-huh.
And Tony just being a klutz, so excited from the
I'm
euphoria
sorry.
of having this German woman with her filthy shoes step on his face. It was just one of those moments I don't think I'll ever forget. I found great humor in that.
I love Tony.
Tony's something. He can be very lovable at times.
Yes.
During the coronavirus, we talked about being such a pain in the ass. We couldn't have him in the studio for a while. So we were doing it like podcast style over the phone. But I think it lost some of its charm.
Yeah.
So after a while, myself and that warrior, that animal and that beast behind the cameras over there, only that can be known as Glance, we would go up to Maine to Tony's house.
Oh, wow.
And we would tape episodes on his front porch.
Wow.
So you remember in your house.
Yeah, in your house.
We were calling it Wrestling Insiders at your house, or Atlas your house. So for the whole summer, Tony and I would sit on his porch and do interviews like this. And when the bugs weren't out, sometimes we had a lot of fun. It was different. It was very different.
I enjoyed Tony, especially when he was on Beyond. Was it Beyond? What was it called?
No, he was on that MTV True Life. Is that what you're talking about?
Not True Life. No, he did it.
Legends House.
When he talked about the tragic,
Dark Side of the Ring.
Dark Side of the Ring. Yes, I enjoyed him on that. And he got into about Bruiser Brody. He did a great job telling that story, filling in the holes that I was kind of like didn't make sense to me.
If you're interested in that, Dark Side of the Ring, they was stuck in the position of trying to tell a very unique tale with many unique personalities in 40 minutes when you take the commercial times out. He did a very interesting episode with us about it. Dutch did one yesterday too, as he was also involved. Zeb Cole.
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
If you're interested, I can link you those if you want to check them out and get it.
Yeah.
Because ours, it's more unedited and it's not clipped up and chopped up and so on. And just such a sad story. Even Savio Vega. Savio saved Tony's life. I don't even know if you're even familiar with that.
No, I'm not.
Because Tony, being Tony, wouldn't stop talking after it happened, and they were going to off him.
Wow.
So Savio, who spoke Spanish, understood what was happening.
Yeah.
He said to Tony, he said, "Go to the airport.
Uh-huh.
No, I'll go back to my room and get my bag." And
No.
he goes, "Go to the airport now,
Uh-huh.
or you're next."
Wow.
So Tony had to get out of Puerto Rico as fast as
Has
possible.
he ever been back since?
He did. He actually funny enough, he went back to work for Carlos Colon and Jose Gonzalez, I think it was their, I'm probably going to get this wrong because I don't know my Puerto Rican wrestling history well, but maybe their 30th anniversary show or something. But it was
a lot of years went by.
It was
though.
2010. I do know that much. So
okay,
it was
okay.
over. And I said, well, what was it like to interact with Jose Gonzalez? He just came up and shook my hand, and that was it. I said, well, you lived, so I guess it worked out all right. But
man,
that's just one of the sad stories. Do you remember Brody from when you were a kid, or was that?
No, but I did a lot of homework on him, and he was definitely a presence. Yeah.
I'll never forget as being, what year was that? That was 80s. I wasn't even, probably in the second grade, and opening up that Pro Wrestling Illustrated when we were able to get all those magazines.
Yeah.
And remember they had the back section that it wasn't like this, but you turn it sideways, almost like a newspaper. And on the top section, it was the death of Brody. And on the bottom section, it was the death of Adrian Adonis, who was pretty fresh off of a WWF run. I don't know if you know about his death. He drove off a cliff up in Canada after he left WWF. And it happened with
depression or what's?
No, they were just working.
Drunk?
They were working a show, and it was a tight road, and it was a group of four of them. They just drove off the highway into the rocks, and
damn!
So within 2 weeks,
two top guys, two stars. Yeah.
That July 4th curse in wrestling, it lived on. Brutus Beefcake with his face. A couple of years later, remember when he got his face crushed in that parasailing accident?
Okay.
I mean, his face is, he's almost like Arnold Schwarzenegger in The Terminator. There's so much metal in it just to try and save the guy's face. But that's a different story for a different time. Back to you, where you are the center of attention in this episode. 2007 kicks off. John Cena, for whatever reason, is feuding with, what was it, Kevin Federline, Britney Spears.
It was John Cena?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And Morrison was with...
That was something.
Yeah, that was crazy times. Yeah.
Anyway, but you, to kick off 2007, you talk about theft and pickpocketing and so on and so forth. A man that recently made his first non-battle royal wrestling appearance, Shaq.
Shaq. Oh yeah, Shaq. We were working with Shaq.
You
That was
stole from
great.
Shaq.
From Shaq?
You pickpocketed him.
Shaq?
Yeah.
We did?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
You don't remember stealing from Shaq?
No, I don't.
Well,
what did we steal? What did we take?
Must have been money. I don't think you ripped the Orlando 32 jersey off.
I really don't remember stealing. I gotta watch that back. There's a lot of stuff there. A lot of fans come up to me and be like, "You remember that segment you did?" And I'll be like, "No, I don't." And I have to go back on YouTube and check it out. There's a lot of stuff like your career. Sometimes it all happens so fast. I have to go back and I have a lot of stuff to watch that I haven't seen years since when we aired it. Yeah.
And think of the fun you'll have someday with your kids being able to watch it.
Watch it back and watching it. Yeah.
What the hell it was that you were doing for all those years before they even came into the world in a lot of cases.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I do remember being in the ring with Shaq when we was working right before we started working Jericho and Big Show, and Shaq came in at the end and did the big save. So I remember that, but I don't remember stealing from Shaq.
It's too much theft. I
No,
when you have a life of crime, you forget the time. I guess
you
right?
forget your.
Next pay-per-view we were on, it was almost like a repeat of the first one you were on at Cyber Sunday at the New Year's Revolution 2007. It was another one of those multi-person tag team matches. This time it was the much better duo of Shelton and Haas.
Okay.
The Highlanders and another, you talk about a unique tag team duo, Mexican Luchador Super Crazy and Hacksaw Jim Duggan.
Well, I do remember Super Crazy, but I did not remember Hacksaw Jim Duggan being in there. But yes.
A guy you went and saw as a little kid at MSG.
Yes.
Now you're working him on a paper.
Had his action figure. Still got it under my mom has it under all my toys under her bed now.
Really? Oh,
yeah,
that's awesome.
she saved my action figures. I had like a big bucket of action figures. And I had a few wrestling rings. She still has I think some of the posts broke, but she still keeps it and the ropes are still intact.
Nice?
Yeah.
Is she still? I know you said she was a big wrestling fan.
Oh,
Is she
she's
still
still a
watch
big
it now.
Yeah, she's still a big wrestling
So
fan.
she's probably a little jealous of you down here watching the show.
WrestleMania.
She's back at home.
No, she likes to stay in the house. She enjoys her WWE Network or now Peacock, whatever.
Yeah, well, there's going to be a lot missing until the summer, so she's going to have to try and get used to that.
Oh man. Well,
There's slim pickings on there.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man,
It's
that's
not what it. Because I'll say this again: whether you love WWE now, don't enjoy the weekly content, they did a phenomenal job putting that network together.
Yes, they did,
Yeah.
and then
But when Peacock came banging with $1 billion,
like,
they weren't going to turn those feathers down. That was one cock they'd take over and over again.
Every night.
Every night, baby.
No kiss, no nothing. Just whatever. Just give it to her.
But any memories of that tag team turmoil match with those guys? No?
Oh,
Your second pay-per-view? No,
I don't remember.
It was such an unforgettable match.
It was
No, I mean just for the fans in general. It was just and it wasn't like there was a big build-up to the tag team turmoil match with Super Crazy and Jim Duggan.
Yeah, I know, right? random people. That's when they really started doing that. They started pairing superstars together, and that was like really bothering me. Like, if they're gonna pair them together, at least have them look like a team. Have
like
them
a tag team.
Yeah,
right. You remember the great tag teams
they
had when we were kids. They had a great
sometimes
tag team
matches were main event.
Demolition when they were the tag team.
Exactly,
right.
And now tag teams are just
as much as you love Kofi to death, and I think Kofi's great from the time he worked with us. But I mean, even the reign they gave New Day, they were on TV. They'd lose 2 or 3 times a month in non-title matches. You wouldn't see that with the champions back in
absolutely
our day. Those belts were treated with great respect.
And they looked so beautiful too.
Yeah. All those 80s tag team
oh
title
my
belts.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Meant something. Like if they bring, if they was to ever bring those titles, like I might have to consider being in a tag team again because those tag team titles look good. Like right now, yeah.
Remember, and they were even worse. Remember when they looked like 2 big pennies?
Yeah.
Probably 5-6 years ago.
2 ugly pennies, yeah.
Oh, now they're similar, but they're silver and with the color of the leather. All right, fans, as we continue this journey with JTG, is it just too good? Is it just too great? I'll tell you this, if you want to look great, if you got something like what he's got, baby, still a little work to be done on this one. Again, I don't know about the females out there, how they do their grooming, but check this out. One of the creations from the mind of JTG. Available now.
Sure.
Wrestling fans, welcome back to part 2 of this great interview. SAHbeard.com, baby. If you want to look as good as him, he's only 26 years old. I'm telling you, he's doing great. This needs a lot of work. At least that's what Linda told me. So I don't know. So I look forward to trying it out myself, and maybe I can look sexy as hell. There is a fan, June McGowan. She comes into the premieres and she says I am a very handsome man.
Oh, okay.
I don't hear that very often.
Oh, okay.
So I need all the help I can get with all of the natural medicines you found in the ocean, and maybe that'll help me a little bit.
That would definitely help you. I promise you that will help you.
Well, in all seriousness, to the degree from the injuries I've suffered from that car accident when I was hit by the drunk driver, my quality of life was taken from me at a very young age, at 24 years old. So maybe with your great products, not only can I improve the moths here a little bit, but maybe be a little bit more spry, so to speak.
Yes.
Maybe Linda would want me around again.
Sea moss would definitely help with that.
Well, you mentioned the libido.
Yes.
You mentioned the libido.
Yes.
Where I am Italian, she said it was almost like when you take the pasta and put it in the water.
Oh,
those noodles weren't very hot.
Yeah, we're going to have to get you some sea moss. I'm going to send you're going to fix that.
How many people would admit to that on camera? You know what I mean? Yeah, we were working with the soft serve ice cream. You know what I mean?
Oh, man.
All right, we mentioned New Year's Revolution. Big match on that show I thought it was a really good feud. It was the DX reunion with Edge and Orton. I thought it was a great dynamic with 4 great workers. Triple H tears his tendon. He's out for 8 months. Even though he knew he was severely injured, he still had to hit his finish so they could go over, which was it was what it was.
Yeah.
But did you think maybe at that point where DX had kind of taken over the tag team division, maybe there was a room for you guys to kind of climb up the ladder a little bit on the babyface side? Because you weren't going to overtake Michaels and Triple H.
Absolutely not.
Right.
There was even talks about us even, we wanted to work DX. That would have been a lot of fun too.
As heels? Or?
Huh? No, two baby faces. But I think, yeah. But I remember what I do remember was sticking out with DX is that very popular segment that went viral afterwards. We did a segment with DX. We did it in the UK.
And what was the segment?
So the segment was they got kicked out of the arena in the UK. They couldn't get back in.
Oh, and you sold them tickets or
yes,
something
we were
like
scalping
that.
tickets,
Yeah,
and we sold them. And we sold them tickets. And we did a lot of great back and forth. We were supposed to be done live, but because I think I can't remember if it was Triple H or Shawn. I think it was Shawn Michaels. They started laughing. We was having so much fun outside shooting it, and we had to do it over. But it came out great, and everybody loved it.
All of those creative Cryme Time skits, were a lot of them ideas that you and Chad came up with? Was it the writing team? Was it a collaboration?
It was a collaboration. They couldn't really write for us because there were times where they had to go to the Urban Dictionary to find words for us to use. Yeah.
Not for nothing, but look at what those creative writing teams look like sometimes.
Yeah,
Are
exactly.
they going to understand Cryme Time?
So we just told them what's the message you're trying to get across? What's the plot? And we'll do our own thing. And that's what made us so over with the fans, because we were original, we were authentic.
Natural.
Yeah, it was natural. Exactly. Yeah.
I agree with you on that.
Yeah, and then we had a lot of that backstage segment was a lot of fun. Fans still bring that every time I do remember that. There's some stuff I don't remember, but I definitely remember working with Shawn Michaels and Hunter. Shooting that. I do remember being freezing in the cold, waiting for see that red light to go live, and we hit a home run with that.
That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
It would have been interesting to see you guys try and put a match together like that. You had the size of Shad. You could bounce around and go pretty quick. Maybe, I don't know if on quite par with Shawn at that point, but Shawn, he wasn't 25 at that point.
Yeah, but he could still go.
That would have been. I think that would have been a really interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
Especially where Shad was so much bigger than both of them and so on. And what could have been. That's why we have wrestling figures and video games.
Exactly. Right? Recreate your own DX versus Cryme Time match.
In mid-January, you had a chunk of releases. You had Tatanka, the Gemini twin, Sylvester Terkay, who was kind of getting a big push at one point with, I think Elijah Burke really outshined him, but that's a different story for a different time. Tony Mamaluke. How did it affect you guys when you'd see it? Not just one or two, but a big chunk of your peers get the axe at the same time? Did it make you walk on eggshells a little bit? Did you just kind of feel bad that the guys were gone? Was it just business as usual?
It was always, you always feel bad for your colleagues when they get released. You wish them the best. You hope for the best, and then but you have to. And you mentioned walking on eggshells. Like at that time when I first started, it was always walking on eggshells. But if you want to read the book, top guy cut a promo on me and already threatened my my job as soon as I got there. So it was always.
Where can you get that book again?
Oh, yeah, you can get it on Amazon.
All right.
Yeah, just damn right I write this book and damn right I write this book too. So yeah, it was always walking on eggshells. I think after some years went by, then that feeling kind of, it's always there in the back of your head, but it's not as bad as when you first get there.
It must be tough to have that kind of stress when it is the job you've wanted literally since you were a little guy.
Yeah,
probably
2 years
barely
old.
able to walk when Mama G was taking you to MSG to see those great house shows.
Exactly.
Now you live in it, but it is such a big, corporate, stressful environment at the same time, beyond the magic that the fans get to see when you put the TV set on.
The politics, there's a lot. A lot that the fans don't see. We have to be on our P's and Q's every single time. Now we have back then social media wasn't big.
Right.
Twitter wasn't out.
You
gotta be careful what you say on social media. You don't want to offend the wrong person or wrong group. It's like
even text messages you've sent to exes.
Pictures, videos. Oh my gosh!
Look at what.
But if a video came out with me, it wouldn't be that bad though. I'll be all right.
All right. You think people would be impressed? Is that what you're trying to say?
Yeah, I'll probably get some more gigs.
All right. Well, I don't know. That one with Xavier Woods and Paige.
Oh,
I think that's
man.
where he came up with
Wow.
the idea for that video game show, Up, Up, Down, Down. But,
Up,
you know.
up, down, down. Wow. Good sub.
Oh, I tell you, the world of professional wrestling, sports entertainment, however you want to classify it, it is a unique thing with unique people. That,
Yes.
Again, but I mean, what was it like? Throw a name out there, Tatanka. I know you guys were on different brands, but again, a guy you probably enjoyed as a kid.
Oh, definitely enjoyed him as a kid. Yeah, Tatanka was always cool and chill backstage. Yeah, and I remember him always being dressed professionally. Like, there was a time where we were able to relax with the club because at the time when we first started, we had to always dress in a business suit because they wanted us to give a certain image to the fans.
In a rent-a-car that you had to pay for to get as cheap as possible.
Exactly.
Staying at a Red Roof Inn.
Yeah, and I remember
You had to have the suit, though.
and I remember Tatanka wearing his suit, but also he was able to merge his gimmick with the suit, and I always remember like that.
Fit in.
Yeah, yeah. The Highlanders did the same thing. They had the kilt, but they always looked in business
that's
too.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we had Tatanka back in December as part of our annual Paul Bearer Holiday Headlocks Toy Drive, and the interviews we did with him were great. You know, where he has a Legends contract, he was a little PC, but I mean, just some great stories.
Does he still have a Legends contract?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, he's doing all right for himself.
Great,
He's got a good life down here in Florida. Good
he
guy.
lives in Florida too.
Yeah, I really didn't know him all that well before we had him up in December, and it was a great series of interviews we did with him. The fans can still enjoy over on the Patreon. We get early ad-free access to all of our Wrestling Insider episodes, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD series that's been seen by millions online, millions more on the Howard Stern Show, including that Iron Sheik classic. I'm sure you've seen at one point or another where we wanted to anally violate half of the 80s roster. You get some Patreon exclusives and you help keep wrestling legends and wrestling superstars working. Patreon.com/Boston Wrestling. See, I can get him in too, not just your book.
Okay.
we can do it together.
You go back and forth as much as you want.
You know what? We're having a lot of fun with it at the same time. But yeah, Tatanka, I mean, that was great that he was able to come back and have that second run.
Yeah.
I think his first run was kind of ended a little bit too quick. He was involved in a scandal that he really wasn't involved with, so to avoid any legal problems, they sent him home for a few months. Then when he came back, I was told that he kind of, on a flight, had a very unique conversation with God, and then he was gone. And then, you know, he was in a good spot. He was with Ted DiBiase's.
Yeah, I remember that Money Inc.
corporation. Yeah.
He turned on Lex Luger.
Yeah, that was a good angle.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
And then he was gone they brought him back, I think, 2006. So for the better part of 10 years, he was gone from the company. And now they've brought him back as a legend. And, you know, he represents the company well, I think.
Nice.
If nothing else. So there you go. Maybe that could be another 10, 15 years from now when your in-ring days wind down. Maybe you could be that type of man.
We'll see. But first, they got to bring me.
They got to bring you back first just to get there. January 19th, 2007. I'll throw one at you where you were again. It's around my age, around that time frame we were fans. We lost the late, great Bam Bam Bigelow.
Yes.
Now, is that something that would resonate in the locker room in 2007? The loss of Bam Bam to a lot of guys that maybe weren't all that. Okay.
Absolutely, because he was a great worker.
Yeah.
I watched some of his stuff in Japan and how for a big guy the way he moved. Oh my gosh, yeah. I was always a big Bam Bam fan. Yeah.
Bam Bam or Vader? Who do you think was the better big guy in your opinion?
Well, Vader, he had more notoriety, I believe. He had more popularity. But I, as a now being a worker and knowing the business, I think I'm gonna go with Bam Bam. Yeah, the way he moves and the way he told the story in the ring, and the tattoos on the head, you automatically notice, recognize Bam Bam.
It's a shame that we lost him so young. You know,
How old was he?
He was only in his early 40s.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And his body was just so broken down from all the things that someone at 400 pounds you wouldn't think would be able to do. And Leon, Vader, the same thing. He was, even at his size, he was still trying to gas up too. And my God. Oh yeah. Yeah. Wow. If you look at him, even though he was big, thick, and hefty, he was very solid. Bam Bam was, if you ever saw him outside of that full body neck
next
defeat,
to
he was
Flames.
you wouldn't have been as physically impressed by him as you would Vader. I don't know if you ever came across him. But,
I came across Vader. Yeah.
But two great guys to enjoy the wrestling of either way. But I was like, sometimes it's interesting to throw those out.
So guys, real quick look. If you want to get solid and you want to put on some muscle, t-moss.com. Raise your testosterone naturally. No more steroids, no more gas, no more growth hormones, SARMs, none of that stuff. Keep that out your body. Keep it natural.
And the libido.
And the libido, yes, it does help with the libido.
I know. I don't know if you want to add any more little G's. I don't know how much more libido.
No, I'm
help
done.
you need,
I'm done.
I've needed more libido help now for the better part of 15 years. But leading into the Royal Rumble, you mentioned you were doing some of those great skits, the great vignettes, along with the matches that you were working. Were you disappointed that you didn't get a chance to be in the Rumble?
I was in the Royal Rumble. What year?
This is the San Antonio one that ended with that fantastic Shawn Michaels and Undertaker that went about 10 to 15 minutes to end, which is the longest ending to a Rumble, I think, ever.
I don't remember. You know, it's sad I don't remember that.
Classics.
Oh, man, I got to check. Go watch that back.
I think, did you work? You worked a dark match on the show.
I worked Lance Cade. I was
Murdoch,
singles.
close.
Who?
Murdoch.
I worked Murdoch?
You worked Trevor Murdoch in a dark match.
Oh, because I remember working Lance Cade singles. So yeah, I guess I wrestled them both singles. Yeah, no, I think it was Lance because I think he got in trouble for something I did wrong.
Oh,
not really. I think I threw a drop kick at him, and it kind of grazed him, but he sold it like I hit him.
Like you got hit by a shotgun.
Yeah. So and then I remember going backstage and I remember him getting in trouble for the why did you bump? I haven't hit you again. He's like, I'm sorry. Yeah. So I think it was Lance Cade. Yeah.
Did you want a Rumble spot though, as opposed to the dark match?
Did I want a Rumble spot?
Yeah.
At that time, I was just happy. At that time in my career, I was just happy to be there.
You were just happy to be there.
I was just happy to be there. Yeah.
What about this one? I lost it right there. January the 29th, Raw. You're about 6 months into your half a year or so into your WWE on television career. You finally suffer your first loss to the duo of Charlie Haas and one of my all-time favorites that we've ever booked and worked with. A man that, again, I have to remind folks is 6 years older than me.
Wow.
Mr. Shelton Benjamin.
It looks great.
He sure does. You know what? I'd take 46 and look like that if I could. Believe me. Especially with some of Shelton's partners in crime that he's had on the road, so to speak. Here we had him at WrestleCon. Zeb Coulter said he thought the wall was going to cave in, but it's a different story for different times. Shelton is a very friendly human being at times.
Yes, I love
Great
Shelton.
tag team, Shelton and Charlie Haas. It was great that they reunited them when the tag team division was so weak. Your memories of working with them?
Well, I love working with Shelton and Charlie Haas. Also, they were great with us outside the ring too. They actually helped us, get acclimated to the road because we traveled with them.
Oh, did you?
We traveled. Yeah, I remember. There's some cool stories that's also in the book. So when we were on the same show, it will be Cryme Time, World's Greatest Tag Team, Umaga, and Armando Estrada. We all get like a big van, split it, and we all travel together when we were on the live events. And just being even outside of the ring, like they were smarting us up about restaurants, fans, gyms. Like you have to remember, like being on the road is like a totally different lifestyle, and they definitely helped us get acquainted to the road.
I think Shelton and Umaga, they lived next door to each other, right?
Yeah,
right
in Houston.
In
Houston,
yeah. I remember they were really, really
and that's also that Chad also moved down there too.
Oh, he was a Houston guy?
Yeah, he moved down there. They kind of like talked him into it, yeah. I was still in Kentucky at the time, and I moved to Texas. I found my home in Boston and then eventually LA.
How long were you in Boston for?
I lived there for maybe a year.
Oh.
And then me and my ex, we had our first daughter, and then then we in LA, and then we moved back to Boston. Yeah, because I was always on the road, and she didn't want to be by herself in LA, so she wanted to be home. Yeah.
So I'm surprised we never hooked up when you were in Boston.
Just
one of those things.
It's one of those things.
Well, you know what? We're here now. That's all that counts. But I mean, one of the best tag teams of that generation, I think, Shelton and Charlie Haas.
Oh yeah.
I don't think Well, you know what? They almost, I think, tried to give Shelton the Sting push. I mean, if you remember when they first broke them up during the draft in 2004, they broke up the team. I think Haas stayed on SmackDown. Shelton went to Raw. Shelton went over clean on Triple H, and it reminded me of that
Oh yeah, I remember that.
in Ric Flair Clash of the Champions match, the one that ran the day of WrestleMania 4 in 1988. And then they did the follow-up with it where he lost again, but then it was almost like Triple H treated as the slipping on the banana peel type loss, as opposed to this guy
beat me
2 weeks in a row, 1, 2, 3 clean. He is our new superstar. It gave Shelton a great level of credibility, but did it get him to that point where he potentially could have been as a main event babyface as opposed to a guy that was in the middle of the pack having great matches? I remember it was funny. We actually had an event, our little group, at the TD Garden in Boston, believe it or not, which for us, you know, who else runs there? WWE. And Shelton, you know, was one of the ambassadors we had with us. And we had the whole building empty to ourselves.
Wow.
I said, we've got to tape some kind of an interview. Shelton was in a nice suit and whatnot. And we went into the garden, into the seats, almost like what you'd see with WWE, with how they do it. We had a nice little conversation. And I said, gee, Shelton, you know, this must bring back some great memories. I don't know if you remember the Raw match he had there. It was in... I think it was called the Gold Rush Tournament, where he worked Shawn Michaels.
Oh yeah, was that the super kick? That's when he
did the super kick when he did the gimmick. Oh, look at that!
Yeah, you
agility
got the
that
feet
I
up.
had
Look
right
at you.
there. Yeah.
You take some T-balls today? Did you take some T-balls today?
I took it. You already sent it to me, brother. I'm in great shape. Oh, what a finish! What a great match!
Yeah.
And I could just tell the vibe was awfully odd.
Yeah.
To him talking about it. So after it was over, he said that's the least favorite match of my career. And I said, why? He said, because he said, after we had that match, which everybody in the world thought was a classic, they still did nothing with me. And I knew I was never going to go any higher than that.
Wow.
And it made sense. But just, it's too bad.
Well, you had some great highlights from WrestleMania. Those
ladder matches?
The ladder matches.
That one at the first one when he kind of ran up and then flipped. I mean, that's some dangerous shit.
Yeah, he's a walking highlight reel.
Say what you want about how far he went up the totem pole. He's one of the greatest athletes in the history of WWE as far as I'm concerned. And Tony and I had an argument about that. He said, well, John Cena could lift more weights than him. I said, well, that's a totally different thing, Tony.
Yeah. Well,
that's why Tony's, the banter that him and I have is so much fun sometimes, because it's almost like two generations and two different walks of life. You have to compare how much weight John Cena could lift compared to Shelton and Kofi's athleticism. But what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Wrestling fans, again, the time has flown by so quick. We're running out of time again, and I hate that because I really enjoyed these interviews. You're available all over social media. Usually, is it at JTG1284?
Yeah, so on Twitter, it's JTG1284. Instagram is JTG121084. If you're wondering what the JTG121084 is, that's my birthday, December 10th, 84. So that should make it easy to remember. And
So what's 1284 mean?
This is just the month and the year. December.
Oh, December. I see what you mean. Okay,
Yeah.
you got a little more elaborate on the Instagram.
Yeah, exactly.
Are you a Facebook guy too?
Not really. Facebook is more for close friends and family, and there's Jason Paul.
Yes, I won't be on.
Yeah, I got you. Just send a friend request. I got you.
I got you. Again, so many different ways you can interact with him on social media. A guy that is in his prime, not to be confused with Cryme Tyme, if you want to rhyme along. I think you're going to see the way he looks at his age. I don't know why he's not on a national television platform as of this moment.
Not yet.
I still want you with us, but hopefully he can do both. Again, little information on this, sahbeard.com.
Yes, if you want to get your sexy on, go to sahbeardcare.com.
Beardcare.com, I'm sorry.
Yeah, beardcare.com, beard and body. Not only can you get your beard sexy as hell, get your skin sexy as hell too. We got over 25 amazing scents. Right now I'm smelling like mango and passion fruit. It's all there. Go check it out.
Glantz loves it. He's already using it. He smells like passion fruit. Let me tell you. All right, wrestling fans, we're running out of time. Again, the next time you see this man, I want him in MWF Studios, downtown Melrose, Massachusetts. We'll have even more fun. Are you a Kowloon guy?
Oh, man. Am I? I love that place.
It's closing down.
Stop it.
within the next year or two. Yeah,
I gotta
They're
come back.
turning it into condos and all kinds of stuff.
Not
because-
Calhoun's. My picture's on the
Yeah.
wall.
Yeah, you know Andy, right? The one kind of I call him
Set
the
it up.
dragon, like Ricky
Okay.
the Dragon Steamboat. The young Wongs, they don't want the lifestyle. Andy himself works 6 days before coronavirus, at least 6 days a week, 4 p.m. to 3 a.m. With 1 day off a week.
Okay.
That's a tough life.
Yeah.
Granted, it's not the 80s WWF
Yeah.
schedule where he
Yeah.
lives close to home, but 11 hours a day with that shift, not much of a.
Is there anything we can do to keep this place open? Is it set up or do it open?
Well, you know what? Maybe if we can sell
Go
enough
fund-
beard care products and books, and
We can
the
buy all-
interviews are a big success, maybe you and I can buy in and we'll run it. We'll just have to buy some Polynesian shirts.
Or if I get a WWE contract, then
There
I can.
you go.
I can
All right. See,
You
we're
got some
thinking now.
plans. All right.
You
We got to
know-
keep Calhoun's open, man.
I'm telling you, we are entrepreneurs, if nothing else.
Yes.
For my friend JTG, I'm Dan Marati. We look forward to seeing you again. Again, the Premier Chat is open. Share some thoughts. Super Chat always open. Tip the bartender if you enjoyed the content. We hope you and yours be well, stay healthy. Until we speak again. Good night.
Sure.
Tickets are on sale now at BostonWrestling.com for our 20th anniversary Back to the 80s WrestleFest, Saturday, November the 13th at Memorial Hall in Melrose, Mass. The World Wrestling Federation was live at the Nassau Coliseum in Long Island, New York, Sunday, August the 25th, 1996. In the opening contest, the Bushwhackers beat Justin Hawk Bradshaw and Uncle Zebekiah. The Grimm Twins with the win over the New Rockers, replacing the Body Donners. Savio Vega and Mark Mero defeated Hunter Hearst Helmsley and Stone Cold Steve Austin. Goldust and Mankind with the win over Jake the Snake Roberts and The Undertaker. The Godwins beat WWF Tag Team Champions The Smokin' Guns via countout. Owen Hart and Davey Boy Smith victorious over Psycho Sid and Jim the Anvil Neidhart, who replaced Ahmed Johnson. And in the main event, WWF World Champion Shawn Michaels and Jose Lothario defeated Vader and Jim Cornette. If you were in Long Island Live, share your memories in the comment section below. Use the links in the description box to keep Wrestling Legends working in our eBay store and on our world-renowned Patreon streaming service, so we can bring you more interactive superstar shoot interviews to relive the good old days of professional wrestling. Check it out. Boston Wrestling Sports and the MWF explodes into a new year with professional wrestling content galore and need you to join our family. Every Tuesday night at 10 p.m. after our Monday Night Raw review, it's Wrestling Insiders at your house with WWE Hall of Famer Mr. USA Tony Atlas. Wednesday nights at 10 p.m. after NXT and AEW, join rotating legends on Wrestling Insiders Special Edition. Every Thursday night at 10 p.m. after our NXT and Dynamite review, it's Marty Jannetty's no-holds-barred sex, drugs, and rock and roll journey on Wrestling Insiders Party with Marty. Friday night after SmackDown, don't miss John Cena Sr.'s Wrestling Insiders Fabulous Fridays. Plus, look for classic clips, history videos, bonus live episodes, pay-per-view watch-alongs, and more. For less than a cup of coffee at Starbucks, get early ad-free access to our Wrestling Insider talk shows, our acclaimed studio shoot interview DVD library, and help keep wrestling legends working during the worst of times. Join our growing family at patreon.com/Boston Wrestling.